My name is Hoda Kilani, career and academic coach of Right Career Fit. It is my pleasure to introduce you to my series, Hoda's Career Info. Coaching is all about storytelling, helping you as the client to envision and tell your story your way. I put this series together to share stories of inspiring career people from across the globe. I hope their stories motivate you to envision your career story, discover your road to success, or recast your career path. But more importantly, that you love these career stories as much as I do. Our guest today is Certified Careers Development Professional and Career Transition Consultant, Bellla Doswell. Along with Katherine Jennick, Bellla is on a mission to create a movement using a hashtag, so much more than talking about jobs. And she is joining me today to tell us all about it.
I had one person who said to me recently, "Is that a real thing? Is career development a real thing?" Absolutely, it is a real thing. Some of us take a longer time to bloom. If you're fortunate enough to know exactly what you want to do from a really young age, absolutely brilliant. But there are so many of us out there who really don't have that. Sometimes you look back and you realize the amazing achievements that you have done. And I really think it's good to review that regularly, just to remind yourself of where you were.
Thank you for joining Hoda's Career Info, your career program where guests from across the globe share career tips and personal stories to help you successfully navigate your career. Watch, listen, and learn. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and follow me, Hoda Kilani, on social media for more career info. More importantly, make sure you have that very important career conversation with a career professional. Our guest today, Bellla Doswell, is an award-winning certified careers development professional who brings successes in helping people make successful career management decisions and develop winning job search strategies. Rather uncommonly, Bellla has a master's degree in career development and coaching, which gives her more flex and depth when helping her clients. Bellla has helped people with their careers in the UK, the UAE, and since 2012 in Canada. She has enjoyed working with a wide spectrum of clients, from under postgrads at university right through to more recently, professionals and senior executive level employees from all sectors of the labor market. Bellla has also taught student CDPs counseling skills and ethics at further education level and is a passionate advocate for the promotion and professional well-being of CDPs around the world. How does she do that? She is the co-architect of the successful hashtag So Much More Than Talking About Jobs campaign on LinkedIn, and she is also author of the weekly CDP Thought for the Week, posted every Monday on LinkedIn. Welcome, Bellla Doswell, and thank you so much for joining me today on Hoda's Career Info.
You're very welcome. Lovely to be here.
I'm very excited to have you part of today's episode, leading it and talking about your work. Part of this program, Bellla, is every guest gets asked this question, is to choose one term that reflects the work that you do and describe it or define it, if you will, from your perspective. So not the dictionary or the Google search perspective. How does Bellla define that word?
Okay. Actually, it's a phrase, as you can see behind me here. So much more than talking about jobs. It's a hashtag, and it's designed to advocate and help career development professionals around the world become more visible. It's designed to help us have a common language to describe who we are and what we do, to help our friends, our professional allies, and the public understand us more and be able to support us more and support our vital work that helps with individual economy and society.
Well, and I love your hashtag. You know that. I've been promoting it and talking about it everywhere I go. I'd like, I
Yeah.
guess, to ask you, how did it started? What got you going on this hashtag?
That's a really great question. So back in January 2022, a lady called a CDP, so CDP is short for Career Development Professionals. We'll just use that acronym. For those in the audience who are not familiar with this, perhaps, or not as familiar, a CDP called Suzanne Steele, who's a Scottish lady, she supported the work of a lady called Katherine Jennick, who had been coming up with this hashtag so much more than talking about jobs for quite a while. And she'd got some of these pencils, even with the hashtag on them. So I'm just going to hold that up, and hopefully you'll be able to see a little bit of that. And that was what was posted by Suzanne Steele one kind of cold night in January. And I thought, you know, that is so cool. That hashtag, we've got to do something with that. Because what led up to that point were several things, actually, I felt in the careers community. I've been in the careers community for around 18 years now, working as a professional in that. And one thing I think I'd seen lately was a lot of job postings advertising for career development professionals but weren't requiring any career qualifications or certifications. And I thought, what is going on here? You know, we've got these trained people, they belong to organizations, they take their continuing professional development very seriously. What's going on? Added to that, there were problems with visibility even with our peers and with our allies at work. So, for example, HR professionals kind of know what we do, but they don't really fully know what we do. Neither do recruiters, neither do teachers. Sometimes I had one person who said to me recently, "Is that a real thing? Is career development a real thing?" Absolutely, it is a real thing. And so when I saw this hashtag, I knew I had to speak to Katherine. I contacted her through a mutual contact, and I said, "Look, I've got this mad idea. Um, do you think it would be worth us doing a LinkedIn flash mob? So we all get t-shirts, CDPs are up and down the country, get t-shirts with this printed on it, and we do a LinkedIn flash mob on the 1st of February 2022. And this was 9 days before the event. And she absolutely loved it. She said, "This is great. Yeah, let's do it because we need to do something." And so we knew the value that we offer to individual society and the economy. Uh, Basically, we know that when somebody gets a job, it's not, you know, it's not just the person getting a job that's impacted, that family is impacted, wider society is impacted, and of course the government then gets the taxes from that person, right? So it contributes to the economy as well. And we thought, you know, what better way to try and help people understand, actually, this is who we are. We are so much more than talking about jobs. So we wanted that visibility there. So Katherine got her big black book of contacts out, because I didn't have any contacts in the UK at all, really, at that stage. And she said, "Right, this is who you need to speak to." So I sent tons of messages out to people and said, "Look, would you be up for doing this with us?" And they were like, "Yeah, this is really cool." Um, and so on the 1st of February 2022, at 9 o'clock in the morning UK time, we had the Brits who proudly displayed their T-shirts. Now, little known to me, somebody in Australia had actually caught hold of this idea before we broadcast in the UK. So way ahead. A lady called Lucy Sattler, who proudly had held up a sign, and she actually kicked off our campaign. Very first CDP who did that. Very, very proud moment. And so we saw an absolute outpouring from CDPs everywhere. Canada got involved. Of course, they were at the tail end of that. So we had Serena Hopkins, Deirdre Pickerel. We had some really big names taking part with us. Delighted to see that. And that's where it started. So in the first campaign, we gained 800,000 hits. We had it widely promoted over here in the media. And then fast forward to 2023, we wanted the CDPs to talk about their client quotes. So we knew if we asked the CDPs, they're a very humble group, as you may know, if we ask them to tell the world about the work we do, there's a strong kind of no, we're only careers advisors, or we're only employment advisors, or employment counsellors, or we're only employability people, career professionals. We're not only that. And so we thought, what better way to show that than them to offer us their client quotes about the great work and the seismic difference they've made to people's lives, the confidence they've given them, the practical support that they've received, and the tangible results, finding work, finding the right course, finding the right degree program. All of that comes from the work that they've done from working with a career practitioner, as well, of course, as the impact of wider society as well. So yeah, so this year we invited 13 countries globally to take part, and we had hits of 1.6 million. So we were absolutely thrilled with that. And we're hoping to increase that moving forward for our third year. We're not giving up, and we're not going out, and we're not going anywhere. We are going to continue and continue and continue.
Well, I am very proud of the work you are doing and excited to be a part of it. I am part of the Flash Mob
You are,
and
yes.
and excited by your work and wouldn't want you to give it up. So this is very good news and so good for the field of career development.
Great.
The next question, Bellla, is a little bit personal. If you could share with us a personal story and perhaps embed with it a message that you'd like to share by being on this program.
Yeah, sure. So I had a somewhat unusual lead in to the work I do as a career coach. I call myself a career coach now because that's mostly what I do. I coach professionals and executives in outplacement services as part of HR consultancy. And there are a few people of my friends who say to me, "Gosh, you're meeting people at the very worst part of their life, where they've just been laid off. Don't you ever get kind of dragged down with that kind of awful moment, or don't you ever get bored with giving advice and guidance and coaching on how to approach an effective job search and recovery?" And I always say to them, absolutely not. I never get bored because, and I never kind of, quite resilient too. The reason is because of the different people I have in front of me. No two stories are the same. And I think what's informed my work is the fact I didn't start off with a careers qualification. So I started off with some training as a counsellor. Actually, as a family therapist, I suppose you could translate that to be. And I did kind of 5 years at night school in my 30s. I didn't actually knew what I wanted to do until I was around 30. I'd done some retail work, I'd done admin work, and I'd also done some caring work, which interestingly, my school, an all-girls school, they really were the only three careers at that time that they pushed us into, to be honest. So I did all three. And I worked out at the age of 30, well, what is it that I like doing? And I liked helping people, but I wanted that to be more specific. What do I want to help people to do? And I think the emotional support really was what I wanted to help people with the most at that stage. Whilst I was going through my training, I started part-time work at the University of Leeds in the Careers Centre, and I saw these amazing career development or career consultants, as they were called then, these kind of omnipotent beings who floated around, um, giving really cool advice, being really knowledgeable, super knowledgeable, really caring individuals, passionate about who they are and what they do. And I thought, I want to be that. I really want to be that. So I've received some training on resume building and labour market information from them, finished my degree, and I fully thought still at that stage that I'd end up being a family counsellor. And then I moved to Dubai, and they have a different understanding of uh, emotional support. You know, that's done with the elders of the family there. That's not really done with outsiders. So it's just a different way of working. So I had to reinvent myself a little bit. I ended up working for a psychometric testing firm, and I was able to weave in the psychometric testing, occupational testing with careers work, funnily enough. So I was helping out with leadership programs and recruitment processes with assessment centres. And on the side, I was helping individuals make career decisions using psychometrics. Really interesting. Um, and then in 2012, I moved to Canada, and of course, the understanding there of careers is more embedded. So I cut my teeth really in the careers full-time careers field in Employment Ontario. And I always say I'm so grateful for my time there because it meant I could work with absolutely anybody. I've seen so many different situations with that client group. Um, and then I taught for a bit. I thought, I'm going to teach people to do what I want to do, what I love to do. So I enjoyed that, but I did miss working one-to-one with clients. And just as when I was in a period of transition to come back to the UK temporarily to look after an aging mum, the talent company who I'd been cultivating a relationship with for a while said, look, we think you can do some remote work with us for our Canadian clients. Your most recent experience for the last 12 years is with Canada and Canadian clients. Would you be open to doing some work with us? And I'm like, yes, fantastic. And I've absolutely loved that ever since. So yeah, happily back in front of clients.
That is perfect. I do hear a message in your story. Would you mind sharing a message from your story and your experience?
Yeah, I think, some of us take a longer time to bloom. If you're fortunate enough to know exactly what you want to do from a really young age, absolutely brilliant. But there are so many of us out there who really don't have that. And there's a theorist, career theorist who you may know of, called Roberts. In the late 1970s, he talked about opportunity structures, and about, I suppose, the myth of meritocracy. Really, that meritocracy, of course, if you just work hard enough, it will come. And actually, sometimes it's a lot more complicated than that. My opportunity structures when I was young were quite limiting. Um, and actually, it wasn't until I was older that I realized what my superpowers were, what I was really interested in, and what actually really drives me. And I think helping people reconnect with their skills and talents to be able to market themselves effectively to employers, that makes me spring out of bed every morning, because each person will do it slightly differently. And my job is to try and work out what that difference is for each of those people, and that's what I love the most. So if I think the message here is, it's taken me a while to figure out that for myself, and I want to share this with other CDPs, we are golden thread detectives, we are dream catchers, and we absolutely help understand that story and rebuild new stories. And that's what I love about this work.
I appreciate this message, Bella, and to CDPs, and I think to everyone as well. I'm going to ask you a little bit about your services. In one of your online bios, Bella, you share that you ascribe to Patton and McMahon's system theory framework. In order to help anyone checking out your bio and thinking, what is this all about? Can you share your understanding of this systems theory framework and how you apply it to your work?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. So Patton and McMahon did some work back in 2008, 2012, and Mary McMahon still regularly presents on systems theory, a lovely Australian CDP and theorist. And basically, the systems theory is not actually a theory, but it's a collection of different theories and different ways of working. And what it looks at is that the client is coming to us, in my case, having just been laid off. And so I'm working with the event. And the mistake I think, well, not mistake, I think sometimes people overlook is we're not just working with that individual. So if I'm thinking about maybe how the general public might view us, because I know that from the inside we know this, right? So the person has been laid off. We're working one-to-one with that person, perhaps, but also we're not just considering that person, we're considering the systems that that person is working within. So family system, work system, cultural system, community system, religious system, familial system. There are so many different systems working within there, and people are complex. And so when I'm working with somebody, I'm always thinking about that in mind. What else is going on here that is impacting this career decision or this career management process that we're going through? And I'm also aware, of course, as part of the theory, not only are the clients within their own systems, but so are we. And so we're also we've got our own systems going on, and how that interacts with each other. It's very important, I think. There's always a wider, broader picture of what's being said, but also is what is not being said. So that really fascinates me. I learned about that during my master's degree at the University of Warwick in career development and coaching studies. Absolutely brilliant. Loved it.
I appreciate you taking this on. Simplifying a theory is never easy, but you really summarized it and made it easy to understand. I do have
Thank you.
one more question for you,
Sure.
Bella.
Yep.
I work with young people and I will say it's okay to step out of your comfort zone every once in
Mm,
a while. What do
mm.
you have going on now or planned for the future that puts you out of your comfort zone?
Great question. Yeah, I think there's two things there. One is sometimes doing paid work outside of my work with the talent company, because I'm still a relatively new business. I've only been in operation since October 2022. So that's a really new thing for me. And the second is doing the promotional work more widely for so much more than talking about jobs. Just taking that opportunity and pushing on that open door, because it is an open door. I never would have imagined that this advocacy would have taken me so far, and to Katherine so far as well. It's not just me; she's definitely my partner in crime with this, really. And I just sometimes you look back and you realise the amazing achievements that you have done. And I really think it's good to review that regularly, just to remind yourself of where you were. There's a brilliant book actually called There's No Plan B for Your A Game by a gentleman called Bo Eason. And I'd strongly recommend that to anybody who is feeling at a little bit of a crossroads with things. I was at a crossroads at one point in my career. I think it was in COVID actually. During COVID, I was wondering whether I was going to go into human resources or whether I was going to stay in careers. And so I did 12 informational interviews with HR professionals. And I just got this feeling that the more and more I did this, the more confused I got. And I also thought, I'm not sure if this feels like home to me. I couldn't explain why. I just didn't feel it. And so I picked up this book. And at the end of the first chapter, not only did I have my plan for the next 2 years, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, exactly how I was going to do it, but I did actually achieve it. So my plan was to do a master's degree in the subject I love. And to be stood on a podium aged 50 with my younger sister in the audience watching me graduate. And that's exactly what I did. So if you are stuck, that is a brilliant book to move you along and help you get your plan together. I think it's good to keep moving.
Sounds like a great book. I am going to check it out and
Good.
start talking about it. These were all the questions I had prepared for you today, Bellla. Was there anything else you would like to add to help me wrap the episode?
Yes, please. So as you can see behind me, please do follow the hashtag So Much More Than Talking About Jobs. There's lots of interesting articles and comments and likes and shares under that hashtag on LinkedIn. If you'd like to connect with me on LinkedIn, please do. You'll find me writing CDP Thought for the Week every Monday on LinkedIn, which is around advocacy for career development professionals. And let's unite globally. And what we have to do for that to happen is to take part. So that's my hope and wish for the movement going forward.
Love this message, Bellla, and thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome, Hoda. Thanks very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
This is it for Hoda's Career Info today, the program where career professionals from across the globe join me to empower you to succeed. Our guest today on Hoda's Career Info was Bellla Doswell. You can connect and follow Bellla on LinkedIn. Bellla is on a mission to increase awareness about the work that career development professionals do. She calls it a movement and is inviting everyone to join. Is there a topic for which you would like to advocate? What would you do to start a movement? Remember that you can watch Hoda's Career Info on YouTube or listen to the episode on your favorite podcast app. To let me know if you are interested in an opportunity to talk about your work, you can send me a direct message on my website, ridecareerfit.com, where you can also sign up for my newsletter to stay up to date on the latest episodes. Please like, subscribe, share, and follow me, Hoda Kilani, on social media for more career info. I am your host, Hoda. Until next time, remember that your time is valuable. How are you spending it?